Welcome viewers to the first of our AFL North Coast Footy Show discussions for this week.
Huge week.
Massive week of footy. So big, so much content. We're going to have to put two shows together this week. So this first one early in the week will just be looking back at a fantastic junior season and more specifically around our full season award winners and also obviously the great grand finals that were played on Sunday. Under 11s first, mate. We'll let you take the lead here, but it was a fantastic game of footy to finish off the year for these kids.
Oh, fantastic game, yeah, and really set the tone, I think, for just an awesome day of junior footy. So it was a great day out there. Northern Beaches Blues, first time in many years through to a grand final up against Port Macquarie, who obviously took the punt at the start of the year and split their under 11s into two teams. Northern Beaches Blues, early pace setters, early runners, early leaders. Went into the last quarter, I think from memory it was 7 points up. Managed to post a couple of behinds. They had a lot of the possession, a lot of the territory in the last quarter, just couldn't get that decisive last goal. Coming to the last couple of minutes, they were 11 points up. And that's where the Port machine kicked into action. Started suddenly moving the ball quickly, spreading it wide, getting it deep into the forward line. Young Tom Ryan, a couple of big grabs. Went back, slotted the both of them. So the last two scoring shots of the game were Port Macquarie goals. The last goal kicked with not even enough time for the umpires to get the ball back into the centre to start the game off again. And Port Macquarie snuck away with the chocolates by a point, which was a fantastic game, real ripper.
Yeah, great game. And congratulations to Port Macquarie, particularly, as you said, on the back of splitting their under 11 club, if you like, into the two teams. But also, congratulations to Northern Beaches Blues on having a fantastic year, winning the minor premiership, and just stumbling, I suppose, at that. Well, not even really stumbling. They're getting beaten by a great team at the final hurdle so late in the game. So commiserations to the Northern Beaches Blues. But look at the positives. You had a great year. Talking of them, the best on ground for Northern Beaches Blues was Serge Den Blyden, son of Dennis. Good football in his own right. But yeah, terrific. Game by Serge. He's had a fantastic year and played really well on grand final day. Port Macquarie, unless he hadn't touched the ball in the first 3.5 quarters, I think Tom Ryan was always going to be best on ground. He kicked the last two goals to win a grand final. It's heavy impact at the right time. So congratulations to Tom. And looking at the season awards, Tom was also the best and fairest for the competition. He's obviously had a fantastic year. Adrian, his father and coach, obviously, and president of the Port Macquarie Club, has obviously done a lot of work with Tom behind the scenes, I think, and he's a fantastic young footballer and had a great year. Speaking of sons working with their kids, young Bo Guthrie's got a pretty good role model as well, and his dad Jay, and fantastic.
I was going to say Amanda.
Yeah, well, Amanda, fantastic umpire as well, so she's taught him the rules, I think, and Bo's working on the skills. So he had a great year to be the runner-up. And then young Will Devereaux from Nambucca, first year in our competition, obviously, for a lot of time, the Nambucca Valley Lions under 11s team, and Will Devereaux got the Rising Star, which is the bottom age best player in the competition, polling the most votes. So that's a fantastic effort to Will and the Nambucca Valley Lions to get someone in there.
Yeah, great to see the Lions having a representation on grand final day. Always going to be a challenge for them to be there competing on the big stage, but great to see them represented with Will, so well done there. I guess just want to mention, Cross, that young Tom Ryan and young Bo Guthrie, crunching the numbers to see the best and fairest, and we averaged that out over the games played, and both of those boys were up around the 2 votes per game average, so that's pretty phenomenal. That, over the course of a full-blown season, you can be polling, across the season 2 votes every single game on average. Real credit to those two boys and how well they're travelling.
Yeah, fantastic effort, outstanding performances by both those boys. So under 13s, mate.
Yeah, 13. So again, a lot like the under 11s. The two standout teams in the competition. Who were basically locked from memory on points at the end of the season, and Macleay Valley just snuck into the minor premiership on a better percentage. Macleay Valley, fairly even, I suppose, first quarter. I think about 7 points or so Macleay Valley might have been up, but second quarter they kicked into gear. Leaping Lamar Kelly, just kicking a bag. Sawtell tried to hit back, couldn't make any headway second quarter. Really put it to Macleay Valley, who stood firm third quarter. couldn't barely close the gap at all. And then just when it was looking like it was done and dusted,
Kicked a few late.
Kicked 3 in the last quarter and really sort of got the crowd back on the edge of the seat before Macleay Valley steadied with the last goal and eased it back out to 20 points, I think, from memory was the final score. So another ripping grand final. Great to see kids going so hard at it, and such good quality footy played too. Leaping Lamar's cousin Justin was the best on ground, coming off of the halfback flank there. Dominant, yes. I think we got him a Remington shaver as best on ground prize, but the only man in the under-13s who needs one. And for Sawtell, young Hamish Dirty Anderson, captain of the team, led from the front, fantastic effort. He was everywhere, in and under every pack, everywhere the hard work was needed to be done. There was Dirty.
Opposite of his name, though, Dirty is very clean. I think his skills are probably the best in the under-13 competition from what I've seen, and he's really, really clean user of the ball, which is fantastic. But yeah, he certainly had a good game.
Is that another one for good line of parentage, or will we just skip past that one?
Oh, yeah, Anderson.
Lisa's a ripper.
Lisa is a ripper. Matt's okay too. But following on from Dirty's good performance on grand final day, he was also the best and fairest winner for Sawtell in the league, so that was a fantastic effort. He's had a really, really good year. And the runner-up was Harrison Lee from Bello. So the Bellingen Bulldogs getting a mention there, which was great. They had a good year as well, got defeated in the preliminary final. But certainly Harrison Lee's had a terrific year there and playing really, really good footy. So well done to him.
Yeah, well done, Harry.
Rising star down south at Port Macquarie, Will Kelly. He had a terrific year and got the most votes for the bottom age player in under 13. So congratulations to Will.
Yeah, well done. And youth girls crawls.
Yes.
Inaugural youth girls competition.
Yeah, it was. It was a terrific game. I was very close there. Involved as an assistant coach with the Breakers. It was a terrific game right from the very start, and it was really close in the first quarter, which was terrific. The Breakers had a fair bit of play, didn't use it probably quite as well with the wind as they could have. And in the second quarter, they really had a great quarter and kicked really accurately, which in the end proved to be the difference. Because I think their scoring shots were really, really similar, but just some better accurate kicking a goal probably ended up getting the Breakers over the line. But they had a terrific second quarter to get a reasonable lead. Held tough in the third quarter. Grafton, to their credit, really battled on terrifically well. Geordie Speechley and Lily Doyle played really well for the whole game and just kept throwing everything at the Breakers girls and along with all the other Grafton players. And they came home to only lose by just over a couple of goals, I think it was in the end. So it was a terrific game of footy. And as a number of people said to me on the day, if that's our first youth girls grand final that our league has had, it's set the bar pretty high because there's some ripping footy played, some great players, and obviously a lot of them playing their first year of footy. Some have played some before, but yeah, terrific standard of game and played in terrific sportsmanship, I suppose. And it was a really good game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Grafton girls obviously really disappointed into the game not to have come away with the win, but like you say, sportsmanship, sportswomanship. Fantastic to see the girls do things in their own unique style. The game's over, the girls are disappointed, but they're straight up to the Breakers girls, who they all know reasonably well, and hugs all round and high fives and all those kind of things, which is exactly how we want to see junior footy played. Yeah,
absolutely. A couple of standouts on best on ground. Matisse Martin from the Breakers. Only came along halfway through the season. Girlfriend of Aidan Van Ryswick. Thought she'd come along and have a bit of a poke around and see what it was about. She's very talented at other sports as well, I believe, but she's just taken like a fish to water. You could say she's found her sport, I think, BT. She's had a great back end of the year and was just amazing on grand final day. And Lily Doyle, who's obviously had state honours this year, she was always going to be a fantastic player on the day and certainly proved that. One of my coaching tips for the day was let's kick it 30 metres away from Lily so she can't get anywhere near it. Worked a couple of times it didn't sink into the girls, but that was a great game. Nikki Wallace, mate, well done on getting Nikki to come along to the grand final. It was fantastic to be able to name the award after her.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nikki, is a Sawtell local originally. Played a couple of seasons at Sawtell about 10 years ago. As under 11, under 12, I think. Yeah, under 11, under 12. Sort of moved up to the Gold Coast and into Brizzy to get some opportunities to play footy as a youngster. And this year, was the first ever player from North Coast to get drafted to an AFL team. So she played all of the games this season for AFLW outfit the Brisbane Lions, including the grand final. And so we just thought that we need to recognise that, and so Nikki was really gracious and said, yeah, I'd love to be on the medal, and made the trip down from the Gold Coast specifically. So I was there cheering the girls on and got to present at the end. So speaking of people who found their sport, Nikki obviously presented the Nikki Wallace medal to the winner, which was a young lady from the Breakers by the name of Cass Ronalds. Who's had a fantastic season come across from basketball. Runner-up in that was Lily Doyle, who we've mentioned before, best on ground for Grafton in the grand final. And the rising star, another one from Grafton, was young Mackenzie Bagnall, daughter of the great Bags, who is now known as the father of the younger Bags. She won it for being the best under 13, under 14 in the competition. So she had a fantastic season, really grew into it, and started to become a player who could really exert some influence on the game. So well done to all those girls.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was great that Nikki was able to be there. But Tony Lynette, I'm not sure whether you saw, you might have had your back to him, but at one stage, tears in the eyes, he was wiping them away. He coached Nikki at Sawtell when she was a junior there, and I think he might have even been the president of the club, junior club as well at the time. So he was really emotional on the day and was just so thought it was a fantastic thing that you managed to do, mate. So well done. It was a terrific day with regards to that first youth girls grand final and also the award. So terrific work.
Thanks, mate. I mean, Tone was there trying to take any credit he possibly could for Nikki's career. It did get slightly embarrassing when he then tried to take credit for her older sister's basketball career in the States based on Tony coaching her playing footy. How that works, I don't know, but in Tone's mind...
Toughened her up, maybe?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Christy's a fair basketball player. I remember seeing her play at the stadium. Under 15s, mate. Yeah. Port Macquarie had a really dominant year, you'd have to say. They were, probably head and shoulders above the rest of the competition for most of the year. So this was probably the grand final. It was looking like it was sort of really likely to go one way. It was a tough game though. Sawtell really took up the challenge and put in an enormous amount of effort. I mean, I'll never forget Tyler Donovan basically almost convulsing on the sideline from the amount of effort. Yeah, he was choking, maybe not convulsing, but he put in an enormous amount of effort and was really, really struggling physically. So they certainly the whole team put in a great effort.
They did.
And managed to keep the game really close for the sort of the first 2.5 quarters, and then Port Macquarie's probably size and skill level was just a little bit better across the park. Managed to pull away at the end there, but all credit to Sawtell for really putting up a great effort. But obviously congratulations to Port Macquarie for being the dominant team all year and capitalising in grand finals. Plenty of teams have gone into grand finals and lost, even though everyone expected them to win. So congratulations to the Port Macquarie team for managing to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, and like you say, I mean, Steve Davis, coach of the Port team, in his sort of words he said after the game, acknowledged the fact that Sawtell and Port have played a couple of times recently. Obviously, played in a semi, coincidence would have it, played in the last round, and that was by far the toughest match of the year for Port, and that's exactly what you want. Doesn't matter how dominant you are, when you're sitting on the sideline watching the game, you want to see the toughest, best game on the last day of the season. So full credit to Sawtell for that. And well done, obviously, to Port on claiming the flag. Yeah,
absolutely, and some really good performances on the ground. Best on ground for Port was Ed Smith. Speaking of clean, before, unbelievable hands. I don't think he fumbled for the whole game, and the couple of times I'd seen him through the year is exactly the same. He's got a real career ahead of him, I think, young Ed. Pretty nonchalant sort of a kid. But just uses the ball so well. Great vision and really understands where the footy's going to go and find it there playing at half back. So he had a great game.
And just picking it up off his shoelaces all day, which incredible.
Absolutely. And Alex Pike from Sawtell is always courageous, always gives 100%, and he had a terrific game as well on grand final day.
Yeah, it would have been good to have a GPS on Pikey for that game because he certainly covered every blade of grass.
Absolutely. Best and fairest?
Best and fairest for the season, Jacko Turley from Port Macquarie. Fantastic season for Jacko, and I'm sure we'll hear more about him in weeks and months and years to come.
Absolutely.
Standout player there, obviously. Runner-up, Noah Dalton from the Breakers, another one who, Noah was sort of, Breakers dipped out at the preliminary final time, so obviously successful team, but Noah was probably at the heart of everything that was good happening for the Breakers, so really well done, Noah. Big shout out to him. And the rising star, so the under 14 who polled the most votes was young Alex Byrne.
Yeah.
So again, great season by Alex, stepping up into that age group. Played a little bit of 18s this year as well, so he's really extended himself. Well done to him.
Absolutely, and not only to all the players that put on a fantastic spectacle on the weekend on Sunday at the grand finals. Also like to thank all the umpires, not only the ones that got a grand final gig, but all the umpires for the whole season, but certainly the ones that got a gig on grand final day to reward them for their performance and their commitment to their umpiring through the year. It's been terrific, and all the volunteers. I mean, it's a stressful day. I was involved in one of the games, so I certainly know that. But it's really great to have the volunteers working in our sport, doing the right thing by the kids and making sure they enjoy it, they improve, and really get something out of their footy during the year. So thanks to the volunteers and the umpires.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So look, I mean, in wrapping it up, I guess it's been a fantastic season. We started back in April. Tremendous growth. New club at Nambucca. We had 5 new teams across various age groups, and then on top of that, also we had the four girls, youth girls teams introduced this season. So, new club, 9 new teams, 1 new competition, fantastic growth, really showing that, footy's really starting to get a toehold and, really starting to make its mark in the market up here. And then to wrap up on grand final day where, of our 10 clubs, we had 6 of them participating on grand final day. The 7th awesome. In Bello who just missed out with their 13s. Really shows that not only are we getting the growth, that the growth is happening right across the region. Aligned with that growth is that we're getting the standard is coming up across the board, and all the teams, all the clubs are becoming more competitive, which is fantastic. So really, great things to build on into next season.
Absolutely, mate. Fantastic wrap up there. And just for all the viewers, obviously pretty long show this morning for what was a look back at the grand finals for the juniors. Senior grand final coming this weekend, so we'll be back later in the week to do a preview of those games, including the women's demonstration game that is on as well. So under 18s reserves and senior grand finals and the women's demonstration game this Saturday. We'll be back later in the week to give you a full preview of all of that. We'll see you then.
Maybe even a highlights show on Friday of the Footy Show.
Outtakes maybe. Anyway, see you soon.